Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Wednesday. It is hump day, and it is the last day of 2025. Okay, I know I'm a little late. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Not really, just me running late. I don't know why my nose, it's really windy, so I think that's why my nose is all kind of crazy, because the nice little sinuses. All right. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing? Good morning, older sibling. Good morning, I'm going to assume Muddy and maybe Cousin Jeannie. All right, so let's do an active aloha really quick before I get into what we're going to talk about. We'll just do one, right? Finish out the year in whatever and all the things. So I'll just randomly pick one. All right, how about this one? This is an easy one. Turn off the light when you walk out of a room. Turn off the light when you walk out of the room. That's legit. That is legit. And that is easy, and you can do that. That is, excuse me. That is a good habit to start for the new year. Pardon me. What is, oi. It's going to be one of those kind of shows, all right? You know, last one of the year, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Nothing's going to cooperate. But anyways, I am trying to be festive. So I got my sparkly shirt on. I love this shirt. Don't always find occasion to wear it, although I think I'm going to change that next year. If I feel like wearing it, I'm going to wear it. So I'm pulling out the big journal, the book. I was at Starbucks the other day, and it's kind of my refuge. Oops, sorry. It's kind of my refuge, my place to go. And this just kind of came into my head. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to write this down and hope for the best. And then we'll just use it for the show. We'll use it for the show on Wednesday. So, okay. So Sammy says, I love that shirt too. I'd wear it a lot. I kind of have PTSD from this shirt, and I'm going to tell you why. This is one of my favorite shirts. I used to wear it all the time. You can tell because little sparklies are starting to fall off in certain places. So she's getting some cracks in her lipstick. But I was on my way to Tucson, you know, probably I guess I think it was in 2020, right before the world shut down. And I don't know what was happening, but the sun was shining right on my shirt. And all of a sudden, all these butterflies just started slamming into the windshield. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, what is happening? Where are they all coming from? Blah, 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 blah. And then I realized that it's like my shirt was so sparkly because the sun was shining right on it. So I thought, well, I'm going to try something. So as warm as it was for winter, I put my jacket over the shirt. You know, I had I had a wrap, I think, and I kind of wrapped it the other way so that it covered my shirt, and it minimalized. So then it was just regular bugs. So I'm like, I killed so many butterflies with this shirt. This is supposed to be a happy shirt, and butterflies are supposed to be happy and you know, and harbingers of great news and fantastic beginnings. And I was, I caused massive death amongst the butterfly population with this shirt. So, but I will get over it. I will get over it this year. 5 years later, right? I'll get over it because I love this shirt and I want to wear it before all the rest of the sparkly sequins fall off. I know. I can't find any that match it. So I know, little chunks of her are missing, but I love this shirt so much. You know what? I should just fill it in with thread, right? Like pink thread every time. And then eventually maybe it'll just be one big pink thread and not sparkly anymore. But anyways, all right. Self-Care Wednesday. That is the story of the shirt. Right? Sammy's all, that's crazy. It was crazy. And I felt so bad. I felt so guilty. I called older sibling and I'm all like, I just murdered a bunch of butterflies. She's like, what? And I'm all, they were all just kind of like, you know, committing harakiri on the windshield. It was devastating. I love butterflies, you know? I mean, Yeah, that was pretty traumatic. So anyways, all right, letting go of that PTSD so we can enjoy the shirt again for more than just special occasions. This is also my birthday shirt. But anyways, so final thoughts from the perspective. Why does this keep turning? You know what? I think it's the mic. Sorry about that. That was my fault. Oop. Okay. Well, there goes Shelly Marie. All right, hold on. Technical difficulties here. Technical difficulties. Okay, there. You got a glimpse of the whole room. Sorry about that. Oi, stop. Okay, this, like I said, this is going to be one of those shows. Oh. Okay. Anyways, now I think I got to turn on the light. So it's a little dark outside, and I love it because the window is just cracked. So there's like this Charles Dickens wind flowing through the window, going, woo, you know. So at least this won't be a dull Aloha Perspective. All right. So there you go. You've already had an adventure and a half, and we haven't even gotten into the meat of it yet. So let's get into the meat of it. Okay. Final thoughts from the perspective for 2025. I'm going to read this and I'm going to talk about it because I don't actually think I covered some stuff yesterday that I talked about in here. Now remember, just, cut me some slack because I wrote this on Monday with an idea of what I was going to talk about on Tuesday and clearly may have moved around it. So here we go. Final thoughts from the perspective for 2025. Sometimes when I scroll, something might hit me that I can't necessarily write down at the moment, so I send it to myself. Then, in true Shelly Marie fashion, I forget about it for a while. But when I do see it again, it usually socks me between the eyes in a thunderous aha moment. This particular meme was lost to me for about 10 days when I saw it again. It reads, "Then I realized that to be more alive, I had to be less afraid. So I did it. I lost my fear and gained my whole life." This week we've talked about how sometimes we try to fit into societal norms that we let ourselves fall by the wayside, whether it's our mental health or our physical health. We lose ourselves in what we can do for others while putting our own needs aside. Helping others is great. Helping others is great, so is being there for others, but do not forget to take care of your own needs. Remember, this is Self-Care Wednesday. Stop apologizing for you time. Stop apologizing for saying no. Stop apologizing for who you are because you are an amazing human. Keep trying to change yourself to fit into someone else's mold. You are only letting yourself down. Just be you and let the world adjust. Just be you and let the world adjust. All right? So remember, okay, stop apologizing for you time. Stop apologizing for saying no. Stop apologizing for who you are because you are an amazing human. And that is the one thing I really want you to take out of this year. You matter. All right. All right. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Because I don't know what was happening there, but that was pretty wild. So, anybody there? Anybody still on? It says people are on, but I can't tell if anyone's on. So if you're watching this later, I do apologize. We're having some technical difficulties, which is really not surprising me. But this is the summation of 2025. So anyways, if you guys are on, please let me know. If not, I'm going to restart this and we're going to start the show over. So, okay. What about Cousin Jeannie, older sibling? Can you guys check in, see if you're still there? Yeah, it was cutting out on my end. I actually had to turn off the Wi-Fi. I don't know what's happening, guys. Well, yeah, I have an idea, but yeah, this just really sums up 2025 for, everything, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like it is seriously just summing up 2025? So, I don't know if Cousin Jeannie's still on. She might be. It says 3 people are on. So yeah, I think I had a little bit more, but I may have lost them in that. But, there's people that come and go as well and watch it later. So, anyways. That was my thought, but it sucked because my period on the sentence of "you are an amazing human" just cut out. So I'm going to read that one more time. Stop apologizing for you time. Stop apologizing for saying no. Stop apologizing for who you are, because you are an amazing human. And if you keep trying to change yourself to fit into someone else's mold, you are only letting yourself down. Now, we talked about this a little bit. Yeah, Sammy, it really does sum up 2025. Legit. Just be you and let the world adjust. And we talked about this, like I said, a little bit over the last 2 days with the body positivity, the body neutrality, the body transparency, however you want to put it. And how we just try to fit our bodies into some kind of societal mold, right? And we shouldn't, I don't know, we shouldn't, period, straight up, we shouldn't. We deserve to be seen for who we are. If your body is going to go through changes, or if you choose to make changes, that's your choice. But people should not judge you for where you are and who you are in this very moment. Because you are perfect just the way you are. You are enough. You do matter. And if no one's going to tell you that, then just know that I'm telling you that, all right? We can even go the Hawaiian route. Auntie Shelley is telling you this, all right? So Auntie is telling you this, all right? I don't know, that just felt like a new thing, right? Auntie Shelley says. On the Aloha Perspective. That's everybody's auntie and uncle in Hawaii. Which is, I have to side note here, which is very helpful when you can't remember names. I'm pretty good at names, but I know other people who aren't. It's like, I'm never going to remember this. I remember the first time I brought older sibling to a luau, and I'm all, this is Auntie so-and-so, and then my mom and my dad or my mom was injured. My dad had already gone to find a seat, and my mom's all, well, this is Auntie so-and-so, and this is Auntie so-and-so, and, this is Auntie so-and-so or Uncle so-and-so, and older siblings all, I'm never going to remember all these people. And it's like, that's why you take off the name and you just call them Auntie or Uncle. And then I said, then if you kind of get caught in the corner, say, I'm sorry, what was your name again? There's no shame in asking that, okay? Not everybody has a brilliant memory. Not everybody has an eidetic memory, and not everybody is good with names. So if you got to ask. Because it's like, I have met people several times, and sometimes it's like, it's just kind of like, when you meet people in such a rush, you're like, wait, which one are you again? So, let's see. Older sibling said, thank you, Billy Joel. What? I don't get that. I don't get that reference. You're going to have to explain that to me. Oh, Cousin Jeannie. Yeah. Thank you, Auntie Shelley. So there you go. So yeah. Or Auntie Shell. Auntie Shell. Well, no, Auntie Shelley. Shell's reserved for people I know, but that I'm close to. Sorry, that's how it goes. That's why I always start out with introducing myself as Shelley Marie, because most people will just break it down to Shelley. And then eventually, as they get to know me, they take the Y off, and it just ends up at Shell. So now you know my personal stuff, all right? That's that, we all have that thing about our names, right? You don't know me that well. Don't you be calling me by any nicknames. I mean, if it happens, it's fine. But I don't really care. But most people call me Shell, so to be honest with you. Oh, okay. They'll love you just the way. Okay, yes. Thank you, Billy Joel. That's a pretty song, too. What was it? I love you just the way you are? I don't know. So since we're in 2025 end mode, I'm going to share with you guys something that I shared with older sibling last night or this morning when I called to wake her up. I have weird dreams, okay? And she always says, did you dream anything last night? Well, she hasn't asked me in a while, but this one was so wild. I had a 5-foot koala that talked in my dream last night. I have no idea where it came from. I booped its nose. I kissed its nose. It was so cute. And it hugged. But I was like, okay, what is happening here? Nobody knows what goes on in this noodle. This noodle has some wild dreams. I mean, I could write books on the dreams that I have. But anyways, let's get back to our subject, all right? 2025 was difficult. It was. And, for some people it was great. For the majority of us, it was just hard. It was hard. And I don't mean just in our personal lives. I mean, just in general, at least here, okay, in this country. And I don't want to move in that direction. I don't want to speak in that direction, but it was very mind-numbingly difficult. Kind of left you gobsmacked, right? Kind of like, or not in a good way, but like, or awestruck, but not in a good way. Kind of like, did that really happen? Did that person really say that? But here's the thing. While most of us are looking back at 2025 going, what a horrible year. I hate this year. It was absolutely worst year ever. I hope 2026 is better. Let's make it a better year. Yada, yada, yada. Let's just try to look back on the good stuff, all right? So that we can bring ourselves into 2026 in a good mood, all right? In a good mood. Spreading love, spreading joy, spreading kindness. Kindness is free. Doesn't cost much. A simple smile does not cost much. To a stranger. A simple hello costs nothing. Right? And I think that we forget that a lot of times. We spend so much time complaining or so much time going, oh, why is everything like this? This year sucked. This year was horrible. This year was, whatever it was. And personally, as hard as 2025 was, I had major personal growth. I had super major personal growth. This is the year where I finally realized I matter and I am enough. Where my self-love feels like it really kind of kicked in. Where I took care of my own needs and I did what I needed to do. And, this is not the environment I thought it would happen in, but if this is the environment that was intended for it to happen in, then that's fine because it gave me the space I needed to get my head in order, get my shit in gear, and to move forward. To move forward in this personal growth. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. If you feel like you need to strengthen yourself in some area, whether it's physically, spiritually, mentally, or all three, then do it. But don't discount the work and don't discount the progress that you've made thus far. When you really stop and think about it, life is a work in progress. We're never going to reach that proverbial end, right? Because we're constantly learning new things. We're constantly shifting into different gears. You may think you're heading down one path and then all of a sudden go that way and go, wow, and who knows, you might circle back to whatever path you were on. But maybe your journey is meant to take you this way or that way and, bring you back to center when it's ready. But I think sometimes we look at a year and think, well, I didn't lose as much weight as I wanted to. Excuse me. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Why didn't I, how come this? How come that? Why did I not? Let that go. All right. Let that go. As I wrote, I was pointing to my journal, which is over there now. You are an amazing human being. Even the crows are trying to tell you this. There's literally one right outside my window on the tree. And he's just like, squaw, squaw, you're great. I'm translating. Right, baby? Yeah? Oh, look, he's so cute. He just looked right at me when I said that. Giggles. I know we were talking about crows last night. My cousins are not fans, but I am. I love all birds, and it's just their circle of life, not pretty. Not pretty at all. But I love crows and ravens, and not because, no other reason than they're just so smart. See, and he's saying, yes, we are super smart. I'm not even sure if you can hear him, but he's chatty. He's got a lot to say today, or she, I don't know what it is. But anyway, the crow has spoken, okay? You are enough. You are amazing. And I think as we head into 2026, instead of looking back at everything that you may have failed at, everything that you feel like you may not have accomplished, I want you to look at the year in review of all the wonderful things you did do. maybe the adventures you had, maybe the time you spent putting together puzzles or talking to your neighbors, or Jeannie's all, I hear it all from here. I know, she's not that far. Like, as the crow flies, she's not that far. She's probably about 30 seconds from this house as the crow flies. As the car drives, it's about 2 minutes if you get the green light. So anyways, don't look back at where you think you failed. All right. I'm putting it in quotes like this because it's not failure. Failure is just another way of saying I learned a different way to do it. Okay. And if it pointed you in a different direction, take that as a win. You know, I mean, my cousin and I did some journaling down by the beach this year. I mean, we only did it twice and it was towards the second half of the year, but we've had adventures. We've had fun. You know, the times I've seen an older sibling, we've just chatted and, you know, caught up and all those things. And, you know, Sammy and I have had some pretty good conversations on text this year. And, you know, I just want to remind everybody that as difficult as the times may feel right now, we can flip it by putting that love into the world, by adding that love into the world, by saying, hey, I can do this. I am capable. When something hits us sideways and it makes us angry, you know, move through the emotion. I'm not saying don't be angry about it. Just move through the emotion, but don't hang on to it. You know, after a certain time at night, stop doom scrolling. You know, if you know you're going to go on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and you know it's going to be nothing but garbage, just let it go, move through it. Or if you see it, just scroll past it, you know, that way you can figure out how to fall asleep without all this gunk mucking up your sleep and all that. Wow, he just came closer. Hi, cutie patootie. Oh, he looked right at me. I'm sorry. This is real time, guys, if you're watching this when it's not live, but you're so close. Oh, hi, cutie. Aww. Okay, sorry. Squirrel or crow. So anyways, yeah, just stop. That is so funny. Every time I talk, he talks. And every time I stop, he stops. Yeah, you must be a girl. Anyway, look at your progress. All right. Not where you may have fallen short. And actually, you know what? I'm going to amend that just a little bit. In the places that you've fallen short, if it is something that you want to be better at, look at it. How can I make this better? You didn't fail. You just found one way not to do it. Or maybe several ways not to do it. But that doesn't mean that you still can't succeed at it. It just means that that was not the path. Excuse me, originally. So figure out what it is you need to do to succeed at it. And then, you know, move through it, fix it. Move through the bad stuff. Move through the feelings. Okay, because that's important. That is necessary. And that's how you heal things. And once you heal these things, you're going to find that you look back and go, hey, you know what? It wasn't a failure. It was just, you know, me learning something. Maybe it wasn't meant for me. Maybe there was a different way I can do it. And wow, I found that way. But as we leave 2025 with all the difficulty that sits up on our hearts of this year, find a way to heal that. Move through it. And let's really try to start tomorrow, 2026, with a beautiful feeling of purpose, with a beautiful feeling of putting love into this world and kindness, and see if we can combat the bad things with that. Because you may think, well, I can't change the world by smiling at someone. No, but it's a ripple effect. What we do is a ripple effect. You know, if you have a fight with someone, or you flip someone off while you're driving, or you whatever, that may make their day bad. Or it might make them feel bad, and that could ruin their whole day, right? Like if someone cuts you off and they flip you off, and then you're just mad about it for the rest of the day, right? So everything we do is a ripple effect. So why not make it a good one? Now, I get it, because I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. I am probably about 5 steps away from road rage, but I do yell at the windshield a lot. And yeah, and I think a lot of times, I was trying to explain this to older sibling because a lot of people don't understand this. I that's my way of panicking when people do stupid things, because it just kind of jumbles my brain for a moment, and I need to figure out how, because apparently to me, as I'm talking about it now, that is probably some sort of trigger. Okay, some sort of trigger, like, oh, and then you take it personally. And I need to not do that, because that can put everybody else in danger as well, myself included. So, there are things I know that I need to fix, but I have gotten better at it, and I'm trying. And that's all we can do. Because like I said, life is a work in progress. From womb to tomb, as older sibling would say, from womb to tomb, life is a work in progress. We may hit different endpoints and then come back to the main road and keep going, but it is a work in progress. It's the whip street, right? The whip highway, the whip journey. Work in progress, WIP. So be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. Tonight, just have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve. Please be safe, please be careful, and yeah, I will see you all back here on Monday, January 5th. January 5th, so next Monday, next year. I'll see you next year. So have a great day. Like I said, have a wonderful, wonderful, and safe. Please be responsible. If you're going to drink responsibly. Have a designated driver, whatever you need to do, Uber, all those good things. Auntie Shelley says so. Okay, Auntie Shelley says, be safe, practice safe habits. So anyways, again, have a great day, everybody. Please be safe this weekend, tonight, tomorrow, the rest of the weekend. And and on top of that, have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's. Have a wonderful New Year's. Eat your noodles on New Year's Day. Eat your beans on New Year's Day, whichever one falls into your good luck category. And yeah, just hold your heads high and start tomorrow, or start today. Okay, practice it today. But when you start waking up tomorrow, look yourself in the mirror, say, I matter and I am enough. Because you are. Have a great day.